Okay, so here will be a review of the Oshkosh H Series snow chassis. This model could have 3 attachments. It could have the snowblower, the plow, or a sweeper, which I don't own at this juncture, but I will get it eventually. So I have to say, this model I got with store credit, and I would have never bought this model if I didn't have store credit, and I have to say, it's probably one of the most detailed models in my collection. It's just overall a great model. And to start off, I'm going to go from the attachments, and I'll actually go to the truck or the rig. So one bad thing that happens when you get this model, and even though the real machine has it, I just don't like it, is this plow is originally yellow, and I painted it orange to match the truck because I really don't like the yellow. It's not a pain to paint it orange, but it comes yellow, and when you put it on the truck, it just doesn't match, at least in my eyes, and I really don't like it. So what I did was I just took it off and painted it yellow. The plow overall is great. I already have a review on this plow. This one just has a different mount on it, which really isn't too different at all. So if you want to see a review of the plow, check it out. I have it. This one just has a different mount on it. So now that we got that out of the way, I'll get to the actual truck and show you it. So I always keep mine displayed with the snowblower because I think the snowblower looks the coolest on it. It attaches simply from hooking over the top and then hooking down through the bottom. And then you put these hydraulic lines in these small holes over here. And I'll get to everything in the review. But there's what it looks like without it. But here's the snowblower. It's all metal. It is just overall a beast of an attachment. The inside of it is all metal as well. So there is barely any plastic on this attachment. It spins completely in both directions. And I think that is just awesome. The actual chute moves up and down. I think that's great as well. And you got all hydraulic lines on the back, and you got chains on it to mount it, which mine is stuck, but I'll try to get it off. And you got 2 chains, as you could tell. This piece right here actually goes onto the drive shaft. I don't know if you could tell, but there's a little hole right there. And now go into the drive shaft. It's very hard to hook up, I have to say. I actually don't hook up mine. But if you do hook that up, it'll actually spin the blades, or the blade that looks like a fan on the inside, which obviously doesn't do anything, but it will spin it. Another cool thing is it's got 2 lifting eyes, one on each side, which won't actually balance it, but it'll work. The actual chassis is extremely detailed. As weird as this thing looks, so to say, or as crazy as it is, it's a very cool model. It's just an awesome looking model, and it just works well as great as well. Front axle and back axles, both tires turn. The turning radius isn't that good, as you could tell. The back one seems to want to go more, but it really doesn't take away from the model, because honestly this one sits on my shelf a lot. It really doesn't matter to me that it sits on my shelf because it looks great on it. The adapter here in the front for the attachments basically works like a quick attach on any heavy equipment that you find. It's able to raise, lower, and then raise, and I don't know if it could go down anymore, but it seems like that is the lowest height, and then this is the highest height. It's all metal, and it's got the 2 cylinders, like you could see right there, to raise and lower it. On the front, you got 2 headlights and turning signals. And if you kind of look in there, I don't know if you could see, but that's where the drive shaft would attach. The front window is huge. It's actually 4 windshield wipers. They are extremely thin. You could see one right there, and they do turn, but I don't want to move them because they're so thin. I'm afraid of them breaking. You also got two windows on the bottom, so you can see in front of you on the left and right. It's got a warning decal and the little Oshkosh emblem. Now, if you look right there, those holes in there are where the lines would connect. And here's just a better look of the front end. Now, the tires are great, and the suspension is pretty decent as well. You could see it's one of the better suspensions on a model available. And if I zoom out here, you could actually push on each side and the suspension will work, and you could push down on one tire and every tire on the truck will stay level on the ground, which you don't see too often on a model. Now, one of my favorite things on this model is the color, and I think the black just goes awesome with it. Over here, running along the whole side of the model on both sides, you got this black catwalk, and it's etched through completely, and it goes to the back engine of the machine, and I'll get to that later on. To get up to the catwalk, you got these steps here, and they got etched out as well. The cab on the machine, or the rig, is very nice. The doors open, if I could get them open. Let me get a pic. So here you can see one of the doors open, and you can see the inside of the cab. It opens a lot, and it reveals the entire inside of the cab. The seat has air ride on it, as you could tell. And there's actually two seats in there. And the steering wheel is on the right hand side, like on a European truck, and there's a joystick, as you can tell right there, I guess, to operate the attachment. The door opens very nice as well. It's not like other TWH models that I've opened where I've said in the review that I'm scared of the door falling off. The mirror setup is pretty insane. It's got one mirror over here, and then it's got a ton of lights over here, which I think that's really cool. These mirrors you have to install, and I glued mine on because I don't want them to fall off. The top of the cab has got the warning beacon up top, which is a great touch. I wouldn't expect them not to have it, especially since it's a TWH model and the conditions that it works in. Over here on the bottom, I'm not sure if this is a fuel or an air tank, but it's a very large tank, and there's one on the other side as well, so it may be a fuel tank, but again, I'm not sure. You can see it's got these railings on the model, and these you have to install, and I glued them on also, just to make sure they won't fall off, and they're metal. They look great. Over here, with one engine here, and I'm not sure which engine drives the actual body and which drives the attachment, but this engine here has opening compartments, and they reveal the inside of the engine. And this is the only time that I actually open these prior to assembling it, and that door, I remember when I was putting it together, won't come off. But the doors come off like that, and if I could get the other side open, I'll show you the inside. But that's how the doors go on. They pretty much just slide in at the bottom and then push on up top. The back over here, up top you got, I assume those would be the intakes and the exhaust, and then on the back you got other stuff that I'm honestly not sure about. Now, the engine on the back, which I guess would be the drive for the actual rig, is the same thing that you see on the Oshkosh front discharge mixers that TWH makes, and it also opens the same way, like that. The only thing different is this one is metal. So here the back opens, and it just exposes the entire engine, which is the most detailed engine I've ever seen on a model, or at least that I've ever owned in my collection. and it's just, if you look at it, it's just insane. Before I get to that, the stack over here has the etched out, I guess, I believe that is so you can burn yourself and the heat comes off it, and that's etched out, and that is all metal. You could also see it has a battery box right there, and on the back, the grill is etched out. Unfortunately, that is plastic, and it's got a tow hitch, a pintle hitch, and the lights on the back. And this side is pretty plain. This side has the little battery compartment or storage compartment that you open up right there, and it actually has texture to it, but it's painted over. So the inside, which, yeah, that would be the drive for the tire, is extremely detailed. Unfortunately, it is plastic, but it's on the inside, so it really doesn't matter. And I don't want to go too much in there, but you can see it's got the radiator fan and the radiator right there. And here's more of the engine. And I'm going to close that up. And the way it's actually spring loaded, so it will always stay open. And then it locks in, so you don't have to worry about it opening or closing. Now, like I said, I'll try to open up these doors over here, which they seem to want to go more than the other side. So that reveals that engine in there. As you could tell, plastic, unfortunately, but it really doesn't matter because it's in there and it's hidden away. So I believe that one goes right there, and you can tell they just clip right on. And when assembling the model, if you do get it, make sure you put those panels on first, then put the railings on, so you don't have to worry about wrecking the railing. And there's another tank right there, and coming on to the right side is pretty much the same as the other side. Now, to attach the attachments is very easy. I guess, I don't know, I guess it would scare some people to attach them. It seems that assembly on a model always scares people. But all you do is just put it on there, and then let it down, and then slide the pin through. So you've seen what it looks like with the snowblower attached, and you could put the chute up or whatever. So I'll put the plow on it. So here it is with the plow attached. If I would have the yellow plow on it, it really wouldn't match too well. I have a yellow plow. It doesn't fit the adapter, but I'll show you what it looks like with a yellow plow on it. That's what it looks like with the yellow plow on it. Some may like it. I personally don't. I think it looks better with the orange plow on it. I don't display it with the plow because I got 3 other Oshkosh models with plows, so I figured I'd change it up. Plus the fact that I like the snowblower attachment better. I think it makes the model look nicer, and I like the augers on the front. So to attach it, you clear all the chains out of the way, and you just do exactly what I've been doing. And you just pop it over the top. And then I lift mine, and then you just slide the pin, and you're attached. And these lines just go into the small little holes that are right there. I mean, I guess if you want, you could super glue them in, but then, you know, it wouldn't really make any sense if you want to change the attachments, and there's no specific way that the lines go in. It could be a pain to put them in sometimes. I just put them in whichever ones fit, and the same goes for the other side. The small ones have to go in on the passenger side, which is opposite passenger of a US car or truck. And the other one's just going on the other side. So overall, I believe this model retails for around 150 bucks. I may be off on that. I want to say 159, but don't specifically go off that because, like I said, I'm not 100% sure. It's definitely not your average model. It's I guess you could say a specialty model, but it's definitely a cool model. Definitely to have if you want to build up a big TWH collection, even if you have extra money and don't know what to buy. This is a cool model. Mine sits on my shelf. It's just a display model. I really don't have anything to do with it, but like my other models, it just sits on the shelf. So I hope you liked the review. It's one of my new favorite models that I have. Greatly detailed and overall just a great model.